In southwestern Uganda, southwestern part of Uganda, in a place called Kisoro, and also areas around the Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, there's a group of people called the Batwa. They are originally the shortest species of people you can find anywhere on the planet. And they are not pygmies, they're not midgets, it's just their way of life. That's how they were created. They are short and they used to live in villages, their own villages, which were in the middle of forests. So here is an example of their homestead, yeah? A homestead of what they used to look like, or where they used to stay, the houses that they used to put up, they all look like this. So this is a demonstration of what it looks like. And going forward, we're gonna go and look for some of them here in Kisoro town and talk to some of them, right? So stick on the channel. The journey to be curious, to find out, to learn, it's still going. So don't move from the channel. Let me get out of this tree house before my height even shrinks even more. I am worried I could get shorter, you know.
So are you one of the Batwa? Since you're inside here.
Come on, I'm just trying to enjoy the feel of how the Batwa lived. Because when you look at this place, this is like a house, a hut, a grass-thatched hut,
Yeah.
in the tree. Above, we are like about 10 meters in the trees. And the reason why the Batwa lived this kind of life is because initially they lived in the forest before it was gazetted way back in 1991 by the government of Uganda. So the Batwa lived in the forest and they lived in harmony with the wildlife. And so because among the wildlife there were cats, wild cats, and so they are dangerous to human beings. So the best way to prevent them from being hurt by these wild cats, so they opted to, start putting up small huts in trees. However, there are some wild cats that, for instance, climb. There are tree climbing lions, tree climbing leopards, but there are ways that you see they are kind of, it's just that this one was not really built so well to really demonstrate how it was back in the day in the forest. But there are things they used to put under the hut in the tree so that it can prevent those wild animals from getting to them during night. I am not a Mutwa, but I have lived with them. So, well, however, I have not lived with them in the forest. These that I grew up seeing, we were living them in our community. So we mingled with them. So some of the stories we have really had first-hand info from these Batwa because we have lived with them, and they narrated how they lived in the forest.
So I've heard that the Batwa is like a small community that's almost getting extinct. Why isn't the government doing anything to preserve them?
Well, I want to maybe put it right that the government, I do not know what the government would do in its position, because in the first place, when the government was gazetting these national parks where initially the Batwa lived, there was no backup plan. The plan for them, since they were evacuation from the national park, I expect the government to have to maybe have some land where they can resettle the Batwa community. And maybe I think maybe the government with time they'll have to do something, but I'm afraid because after this time there are some NGOs that have actually tried to advocate for the Batwa to also live a life like of these other normal people, maybe from the government, to make sure the government provides land for them to be resettled, but all in vain up to this time. except that there are some few NGOs that have really tried their best to buy land for some few individuals from the Batwa community. Maybe coming back to the question that you did ask me about the extinction of the Batwa communities. They are welcoming intermarriages. And so with the time, I'm afraid there's going to be a time when you can't find the original Mutwa, a pygmy, original pygmy, because initially the Batwa used to be very short, but because of the intermarriages, they are now tall Batwa. Some of them, if you are not steady, you can even marry a Mutwa woman, not knowing that she's actually a Mutwa because of the look. They had their unique look, yeah. And so if they continue embracing that, I think the Batwa, the indigenous blood, is going to get extinct.
And how long ago were the Batwa people removed from the forest?
Since 1991. That's when the government decided to gazette all the forests, which are now the national parks and forest reserves.
1981.
1991.
91. So that's 30 years ago.
Yeah. You have to be careful because
You see, it looks a little difficult to come out of the hat of a Mutwa, but the normal Batwa will not even bend. I think the normal Batwa are like 3 feet tall, but even 2 feet tall. They are basically pygmies. You can call them dwarfs, for a lack of a better word, but this is basically their homestead. So they used to make all their food in here, tell all their stories to their kids in here. Everything about the Mutwa was intertwined within this kind of hut.
Well, if you had a conversation with one of these Batwas, I mean the pygmies, you hear them say they are Basinga, they belong to the Basinga clan.
Okay.
Well, it's true, some of them belong there, but many of them call themselves, like they attribute themselves to the Basinga, reasons being, back in the days, many of the Basinga from Basinga clan were leaders. So
it was a leadership group.
Yeah, they were into leadership so much, and they had wealth, they had food. And when draw the attention from these Batwa, where they lived and how, because they lived in the forest and they lived by hunting, they survived by hunting, feeding on the natural
the fruits
and whatsoever,
honey, yeah.
And so because of that, when they were evicted from the national park, from these forests, they didn't know how to, for instance, survival was really now a tug of war, because they were no longer doing hunting, they were no longer accessing these fruits from the national parks, and so survival was really so hard. And so the only way they could survive is when they could get closer to those who had food.
So they could beg.
Yes, and these Batwa, naturally, traditionally, because they have their own tradition, so they are the best in traditional songs. They are the best. They have their dance moves, and their dance moves, they are where they sing, they tell a lot of stories. So that's why whenever you visit, for instance, the Batwa communities around, whatever group you find, they always want to entertain you. They always want to showcase what they have.
Can we go and see some of these dances?
Most definitely.
are already in Kisoro, and we're looking at the lifestyle of the Batwa. You know, when you hear the word Omutwa, immediately you think they're actually very, very short. But it's not true. These are actually, their height is actually a bit normal. I mean, slightly under 5 feet, but it's okay. And we came here to find out exactly how their lifestyle is. There's been so much talk about their extinction, that they are almost out, you know, because there's so much intermarriage of late, and they are sort of joining a lot with the local people, and before we know it, their culture might be gone. And they welcomed us with fantastic dances. Look at my feet. My feet are terrible. Michelle's shoes and trousers. She looks like a Sacario. Are they called Sacarios? We have 2 people who are originally Batwa, and we want to know more about the culture of the Batwa. You understand English? What is your name?
My name is Emilio Jackson.
Can you speak a bit louder?
My name is Emilio Jackson.
Okay. Jackson, how about this one? Jovanis. Is Jovanis your mother?
Yes.
She's your mother?
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell us slightly, what is the history, the real history, because it's better to get it from you, because originally you are a Mutwa.
Yeah.
What is your story that we don't know?
As I told you, my name is Emilio Jackson, but my English is very little. I'm going to talk in vernacular.
Okay.
My friend there will be translating.
Okay. It's okay, but and speak loud.
Yes. Twebwe twabaga mu shamba kandi amashamba garagacu. Ndiko nabonye chance yo kwiga umwaka w'igihumbi kimwe na 85. Ico gihe amashamba gacu twari twemerewe kujamo tugashakamo umuti na uko habaye umwaka w'igihumbi kimwe 1991 baraza no baje badukuramo kimwe.
Where were you living before? You said you are from the forest, and the government came and took you out in 1991.
Yeah.
You started school in 1985.
Yes.
How old are you now?
I am 32.
You are 32, but in 85 you are not yet born.
Yes, but my father was there.
Okay, I understand. Where were you living exactly? Do you know where you were living?
Yes, icyo gihe abadata baberaga mu shamba, baberaga mu giti cyitwa umuburiga uruhande y'urutare.
Do you know the name of the place?
Yes.
What is the name of that place?
Chuya.
Ichuya Forest.
In Ichuya Forest. Hey. So when you came back here, how did the locals welcome you? The people who are the origin of Afumbira. How did they welcome you?
Twewe tukiva mushamba tuzamo mushamba twarabahiki. Twarega inyama tukarya buki. So uko twavuye mushamba tugeze no mu gihugu tuba abaretwa dukorera abaturage. Ubwo muno mu gihugu naho abagamo bisimba bitoya bike. Sasa ngimbereri tugatorera kubategera imbereri, bategera imbereri bagadohereza icyo kurya, babona ngo kubera twavuga ko abo tubonye nk'umuturage abona twamutegeye imbereri guco akavuga ngo bubatse hano. Ntabwo kimwe n'umugumimigisi kavuga ngo bahano ubona ntegera dusimba dutoya kubera twarabahigi igihe cyagera tukava ngicyo kureberaho sogokuru byara data tubamanje kuva mu shamba ico gihe ko yabaye ari guhiga nyigunyuramo nari guhiga kubera ico gihe nabwo ntari akabuye guhiga cyane hari akiri muto cyamashamba mu bihugo umuturage hano witwa Mivumbi aramubona ari guhiga. Ubwo muri rutani mabuye mubonye habagamo igisimba. Ubwo ico gisimba aragenda namubwira ngo wamutwawe mararimo igisimba kinderaga amatungo tugenda no zagihiga nzaguhemba. Sogokuru aragenda azana yari muzehe Kabehe na Kaburabuza na Munyandoro abazana ari batatu kubera yararingwe yarabereyemo. Baragenda arabazana ko yabazanye baragitega umunsi kumenya icyafata baragara ko gwa kabene cyangwa gatatu barabazana n'ingambi zabo n'amacumu aragitega baracica kamajije kucica arababwira mivumbi ni none kabe nguhaye ahangaha ariho wubaka ari huba niho yabaye hano nk'abatwa baguma barabona babiritse mu mashamba akaje kubendayo arabazana abo bafitanye ubumwe niko kubona turi hano.
So now where is this man in Mivumbi? So how many people, how many Batwa are in this community? How many? There are only 81 Batwa in this community. The whole of this community, you're only 81. Do you remember the year when they gave you this land?
He doesn't remember.
He doesn't. You were born here?
No.
When you came here as a young lady, were you married then or you were not married?
Do
you remember which year that was? So when you came here, were the local people discriminating you? So there's so much propaganda, there's so many stories. When you read about the Batwa, they tell you that you're going to be extinct any minute now, that the culture is diluting, that there will be no more Batwa anymore. Are you so worried about the future of the Batwa clan?
Twajyaga mu shamba ntabwo tukibibona ko mu shamba twajyaga akanyama ko tutaguze tukajya ubura bwo mutaka tukajya ibijumba bitaga ibihama byo mu shamba abakobwa babatwa twabaga mu gisenge abahutu ntibadukungire ngo dusambane nabo noneho twavuye mu shamba abahutu turi kubyarana nabo tukabikora mu rwego rw'uko tutazi turi mu shamba turi kubona guca nkuko muri kutura gucyo muri kudufasha mwaba muje mukadufasha tugashaka umutwe kurya bana bakabona ko kurya tukabaho guca